Coming up on this episode of Outlook TV, Calgary IDQ&F Pride Pageant.
The Stars Tour in Edmonton.
DMS Drag the Vote, and much, much more.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Outlook TV. I'm Emily Ann Fraser.
And I'm Darren Manette. We'd like to thank the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh and surrounding nations for the honor and privilege of filming on their traditionally unceded lands.
Outlook TV is the queer magazine news show that brings you the stories that matter the most from coast to coast, and kicking us off is Fancy over in Calgary with the International Drag Queen and Friends and their pageant, Miss Rainbow Pride.
The International Drag Queen and Friends organization puts on an annual event called Celebration 2025. This year, we are celebrating 3 title holders who have stepped up and fundraised and volunteered for their communities, and we get to find out who the torchbearers will be for next year.
We're here tonight with our start of our 25th year. We're giving away a lot of money to charity. We have a Mr. and a Miss International. Gigi is Miss International. Justin is Mr. International. He's unfortunately not here at the moment. Miss Rainbow Pride of Canada, who is in the house, who had an amazing year with a couple of charities, and she's giving away a lot of money as well. I mean, altogether, we're giving away probably close to $17,000 this year. Tony Lester Van Blam. She is originally from Jasper, is where she lived. Unfortunately, with the fires, she was displaced and is living in Edmonton until she can get back to Jasper. But Daisy is actually the candidate for Miss International Pride. She did run and was crowned and stepped down a couple of years ago, but she has proven herself to actually get into a more positive light. That, you know, she's like, hey, I want another shot. We're about positive light. We're about putting the fun in fundraising. And we're about giving people second chances.
Why you chose to run for this title?
I needed something different in my life. I just needed a challenge, and this certainly was a challenge. A lot of hurdles, but I'm a little chubby man in a dress, so I can't jump that high, but I did it. Charity was Edmonton Food Bank, and we did very well. All of our monies this year will go towards helping families and children for school who go with a hungry tummy. We did a lot of drag shows. A lot of people seem to like the 80s, and that's something I dwell in. And we had a couple donations, some big donations from companies. It went very well, like extremely well, to be honest. Sometimes we're bound for Spain. Heave away, me jollies, heave away. My year was fabulous. A few hurdles now and then, but I mean, nothing that we couldn't fix. It was outstanding. My upper house was just amazing. My princess was my rock. My prince, who is my husband, he was just there. A lot of unity was really great to see.
I just wanted to challenge myself, try to do something different. Been doing drag since, I'd say, 2001 in Halifax. So my drag mother is Rouge Fatale from Halifax, and then when I came over here, I became a Heart with Ruby Heart. So, and it seems like it runs in the family. We all go for titles, and I was like, let's do it. I've never done something like this before, so I was trying to learn the ins and outs of fundraising and stuff like that. But overall, we had a successful year, raised some good money. So we raised for MS, and we also raised for the Doorway for the gay youth homelessness.
And International Drag Queens and Friends to bestow onto both of you the title of Miss International Pride 18, Tony Lester the title of Miss Rainbow Pride of Canada 14.
From Calgary, Alberta, my name is T for Outlook TV.
So next we're going to talk to Joshua Beamish. He's got a retrospective coming up on the 29th and 30th of May at the Playhouse. It's all about dance, and particularly, I think it's all about his famous dances, choreography at its best.
Canadian dancer and choreographer Josh Beamish is celebrating the 20th anniversary of his company this year, and I spoke to him about the anniversary gala coming up at the Vancouver Playhouse.
We're celebrating our 20th anniversary with a gala at Vancouver Playhouse on May 29th and 30th. The company was founded in 2005. And it's predominantly been a vehicle for my work, but we've also invited works from guest choreographers over the course of our history. We do both contemporary dance and ballet, and that's always been part of our identity, is kind of moving between both forms. And then inherently, my experience as a gay man enhances the perspective of my work, and a lot of the works that I make explore that life experience. The 20th anniversary gala will feature 5 works. 4 of them are Vancouver premieres, so only one of them has been presented in the city before, and that's the oldest work. It's named Trapdoor Party. It premiered here in 2007. That was the work that kind of launched my career and established me as a choreographer to watch. The second work, Lollapalooza, is from 2018. It was my first work for the National Ballet of Canada. That is danced by a queer principal dancer from San Francisco Ballet and the National Ballet of Canada, Harrison James, and Frances Chung, who is a Vancouver-raised and trained ballerina from the Go Ballet. The third work on the program is called Mercado. It is a work that premiered in 2011. It's a piece for 5 men. Gay men will probably enjoy Mercado. It features shirtless men dancing together in duets and pas de deux and group section. Second half opens with a ballet called Stay, which is a pas de deux that Harrison will also dance with Stephanie Williams. And that work was commissioned by Dancers Responding to AIDS, which is an organization that's a part of Broadway Cares in New York. Then the final work is a group piece. It's the newest piece on the program. It's called Endless Summer. Predominantly entertaining and joyful, and then I've also looked at how their lyrics could be communicating stories that are untold. One of the most unique things about this event is that we're bringing in some of the highest caliber ballet dancers from all over North America, including dancers from American Ballet Theatre, San Francisco Ballet, the National Ballet of Canada, Canada's Royal Winnipeg Ballet, Ballet Edmonton. There are former Ballet BC dancers in the cast, in addition to celebrated local contemporary dance performers. And so it's kind of a can't miss opportunity to see all of these companies that never toured Vancouver.
Catch Joshua's 20th anniversary gala at the Vancouver Playhouse on May 29th and 30th. This is Gary Wolfader for Outlook TV.
Well, we're going on break, but you shouldn't go anywhere.
No, stick around. Dancing, glamour. And that's just us.
At the gala.
Hi, I'm Karan Soni. I play Naveen in A Nice Indian Boy, and you're watching Outlook TV.
It's wonderful that you're white.
Welcome back. That was quick.
Yes, and Fancy takes us back to Calgary for the Calgary Coronation. Yes.
We are at Calgary Coronation 49, history repeating itself. And for 49 years, history has been repeating itself, as well as incorporating more individuals to make that history much more grander. We are finding out who will take on the mantle, leading us into number 50. Let's go and enjoy tonight.
Here we've had the honor of 2 people have come forward, one to be candidate for Empress and one to be candidate for Empress. Our Empress candidate will be Hanky Code, and our Empress candidate will be Nikki Valentina. I had the honor of, we do 10-year anniversaries, so 10, 20, 30, 40, like you mentioned, we're into our 49th year. The big one for us tonight is that we've got Emperor Dion Boink and Empress Argentina Haley, and they're celebrating big anniversary to stick around and be around with us, and they've been involved since the first time they were Emperor and Empress. So it's great to have them in the room with all of us. And of course, some anniversary monarchs we talk about them, we mentioned, but rest in soul, that they're no longer here with us. But to have Dion in Argentina with us tonight is quite magical.
Involved with the Imperial Sovereign Court of the Chinook Arch during the 7th reign of Empress 7 Stephanie St. Asia and Empress 7 Billy O'Connell. During the 8th reign, I became the Imperial Piper to Empress 8 Ernestine. During the 11th reign, I became the Imperial Grand Duke to my Imperial Grand Duchess Natalie. We were the very first Imperial Grand Duke and Duchess, and we went on the next year to reign as Emperor and Empress 12 of Calgary. I continue to be involved because of the giving back to the community. It's all about fundraising. And back in the early days when Reign 7 was on, nobody in the city would take its funds from the court except for the Children's Wish Foundation. So as starting in Reign 5 with Barry Doe, all the money that was raised would go to the Children's Wish Foundation.
Congratulations and thank you for everything that you've done to support the LGBTQIA community, and good luck in your studies.
Until recently, I've been one of the trustees of the organization for many, many years. I was first involved in 1992. That's when we purchased the Midnight Cafe, and I was very blessed to be welcomed into the community. My kids pretty much grew up around everybody all the time, and they were always down at the restaurant, and they seen everybody. And because of their long-term involvement with the organization and knowing everyone, when I tragically lost my son 9 years ago, they offered to make a scholarship in his name. So the Jake Daniel Stuart Leong Memorial Bursary is to give the opportunity to give back to the youth. And I think that it's important that we bring all of our youth along, not only academically, but to nurture them and to make sure that they understand that they're important and that for all of us, our future rests in their hands. So if we don't give back to them and bring them along and educate them and make them the best version of themselves they can be, we haven't done our jobs, and we're going to pay the big price for it later on.
As the Empress 49 and Empress 49 of Calgary, Alberta, and all Southern Alberta and the Rockies.
Thank you, Calgary Court, for all the work that you've done for 49 years. My name is Empress Sister Fancy Pants for Outlook TV.
So this next story is all about how a nice Indian boy brings home his Caucasian boyfriend and the hijinks that ensue.
Yes, Gary's got the latest on the film A Nice Indian Boy.
The movie A Nice Indian Boy is now in theaters, and I spoke via Zoom to the director Roshan and the lead actor Karan to find out what the movie is all about.
Like when I bring home a nice Indian boy.
A Nice Indian Boy is about a young man named Naveen who is out to his parents, but hasn't brought a partner home. He falls in love with a character played by Jonathan Groff and brings him home to his sort of crazy Indian family, and various hijinks ensue. It's a story about love, but also about family.
I've got an extra ticket to a film screening if you want to join me.
I'll check my calendar, but yes, I think
the movie is not a coming out story, so my character's already out at the beginning of the movie, but it's really about the next phase of coming out, which is meeting someone, finding a partner, and then bringing them home to your family and having your family sort of celebrate that love. And in this case, that is by the parents coming to the wedding and celebrating at the big wedding. So the movie's really about the character's journey, who starts out very shy and sort of comes out of his shell by the end of it.
my parents are super liberal, just don't bring up drinking or sex, and no displays of physical affection.
I dream it because I'm gay in my real life, and many of the scenes and stuff in the movie came from my own life and Roshan, the director's life, so it felt very personal in many ways.
We think it's wonderful that you're white.
Part of the film I find is universal to so many people because the movie is about truly an interracial relationship and the differences between generations, the children and their views and the parents and their views. And I find that's common for every single person I've met, where they disagree with their parents on something and the parents think the kids are not old-fashioned enough or whatever it is, or the parents aren't approving of their child's partner or who they've decided to spend their time with.
I'm adopted. I was raised by Indian parents. Theirs was the first home where I felt like I belonged.
The existence of this movie is political because obviously the present climate, at least in America, is very anti-gay and very anti-immigrant. This movie happens to feature both of those populations. So its existence is therefore political, simply because of the surrounding context, not because of anything about the way in which the movie was made. I think it's really important for us to consider the inner lives of people whose society is in the process of trying to dismiss.
Kind of have that thing where you look at him and you hear music. I never said anything to you about music. Are you telling me I'm wrong?
What they take away from it, I think, is just that they feel warmth and hope and love, because that's what the movie was made with. And I love when movies and TV shows make me feel better about the world and make me want to be kinder to other people. In 2025, I'm all for kindness and gentleness, and I feel like the movie has that in spades.
How do you expect us to react? Go off to live your own life. We don't know anything about you or your relationships, nothing.
And what's wonderful about this movie is it shows a version of life that can be hopeful and full of love and acceptance. And for people that are coming out or going through different things with their families, if this is a movie you can all sit and watch together and maybe have a conversation and feel a little bit better and less scared.
You ready?
From Vancouver, this is Gary Wolfeder for Outlook TV.
So, another break time. Stick around.
Does that pique your interest? A nice Indian boy? Hey, would you look at that, Darren? They came back. And reeling us in, we've got Tam over in Edmonton, and they catch up with this strong ally by the name of Amy Millan.
Right, that's the Stars Tour in Edmonton, my old hometown.
I'm Tam Grzelka. I got the chance to interview Amy Millan from iconic Montreal band Stars, who are touring Canada with the 20th anniversary of their album Set Yourself on Fire. We talk a little bit of politics, band stuff, all sorts of interesting things.
We started as a band in the year 2000. That's when it was solidified. I joined in March 2000. Chris Seligman and Torkel Campbell have been friends since they were 8 years old, and I met Evan Cranley when he was 14. So we all grew up together in small town Toronto. It was a very small town at the time, it felt like anyway. I definitely would say Stars is a political band. I think Tork and I were raised with politics in our families, and my mother, for instance, would take us door to door canvassing for the NDP when I was young. So we were always engaged politically from a young age, going to many marches. So we're touring Set Yourself on Fire, and I think it's a trend. Like, it's definitely not the first. I think Flaming Lips was the first person I noticed that was doing it with Yoshimi. And I just think it's something that it's a wonderful thing to celebrate. I mean, it's stayed in people's lives for 20 years. It still connects with people. It's a record that was seminal in people's lives. I mean, people lost their virginity to some of those songs on the record. And the wild thing about it is so many of the songs are as relevant today as they were back then, which is a bit depressing, but it's been quite something to, especially bringing it into the States at this time, and to sing He Lied About Death and to sing Celebration Guns and these sort of more political songs has been very moving. So playing the States is because of the songs that are so relevant, which is, He Lied About Death or Celebration Guns. I just think it's an important for the people who are feeling so depressed and afraid. And I've changed the lyrics, for instance, to Celebration Guns to be, and then the next day, how will you know your enemy? By their color or your fear or their gender? Because I feel like the focus on the trans community and the vitriol is just disgusting, and it's very alarming, because that whole thing where like they came for them and then I didn't do anything, and they came for them and then I didn't do anything. It's like, man, if you start telling people what to do with their bodies, my body's next. politics are politics, and I'm really noticing something that's being left out is the climate crisis on the debates and the conversation, and everybody's sort of focused on what's happening in the United States right now. And so I just think that keep your hands off my body. It's the number one, and everybody else's. Without sounding like a Pollyanna, you know, we just have always believed in the soft revolution. And the soft revolution is just punching up, as Torkel would say. You know, you punch up, you go after the bullies as best you can, and just follow with kindness.
I'm Tam. That was my interview with Amy Millen from Stars, and you're watching Outlook TV.
So now we get to talk to T and find out all about Drag the Vote, how that went, and well, we know what happened with the election, but there's more. It's interesting, it's fun.
Drag is powerful, drag is transformative, and drag is political. And tonight, the ambassadors of Drag the Vote are putting on a show to remind us of that. We have a drag show as well as having a panel of some of the candidates who are looking for your vote in the upcoming Canadian election. Let's check it out.
Tonight's show is filled with all the Drag the Vote ambassadors from the Lower Mainland who are part of a national campaign to provide voter information and to help protect queer rights in this upcoming federal election. Drag the Vote was started by Queer Momentum and has been primarily organized by Faye Johnstone. She's an amazing trans activist who has been helping organize all these drag artists from Canada's Drag Race all the way down to us local queens. Tonight we have some fantastic performers. We have myself, Alter, Mina Mercury, Justin a bit, who from Call Me Mother, JK, Queen Cece, and our mixed gay Sophia Diamonds as well. So I have a political panel with 3 of our Vancouver Central candidates. I got involved with Drag the Vote because I saw the call out for it, and knowing as a cis femme in the queer community that I get to walk into a lot of rooms that some of my other LGBTQ+ siblings don't often get to. So however I can raise their voices as well as the voice of our community to make sure that we all come out living in a Canada we still want to live in at the end of the day is how I got involved and why I got involved.
Hi everybody, it's me, Mina Mercury, and I am hosting the panel with the candidates this evening, as well as doing a little performance.
Important to me as a trans man to be involved because of everything that has been going on in the world right now, and I don't want my rights taken away. I spent most of my years hiding. I came out at 37. I've been out for 3 years now, and I'm not ready to go back in a closet. Actually, it was the candidate for the NDP out in the Chilliwack riding that I'm friends with who had let me know that it was happening. And as soon as I had heard about it back in November, I signed up immediately because it's so important. I have a lot of friends down in the US, and I saw everything happening down there, and my heart broke for them. And with our elections and hearing everything happening and the same kind of rhetoric coming up here, we can't have that happen. And I've heard so many stories of so many people that are having their paperwork, their everything, their lives taken away from them. And I am terrified that that's going to happen to us up here. So we got to make sure that we're saying something and standing up for our rights.
Thank you for reminding us of the power of the pink vote. My name is T for Outlook TV.
Well, that's all the time we have left for this episode of Outlook TV, but as always, we will be back.
Indeed. And if you want to volunteer with us, we would love that. In fact, we're looking for somebody who could help us with our social media exposure. That might be you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Emily Ann Fraser.
And I'm Darren Manette. Stay fabulous, Canada.